Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to another edition of American Pizza Books. And today I'm going to be doing a movie review, something a little different. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a little review here of The Crimes of Grindelwald, The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the second installment of this series, this new series set in the same world as Harry Potter, but obviously not having to do with Harry Potter or any of those characters. Well, some of the characters more in this movie, but you get what I mean. So, this movie has been getting not great reviews from critics, and even some moviegoers have basically said that they don't really care for this movie. Now, me personally, I actually like this one better than the first one. Now, I know that there were more people that liked the first one. There was a lot of people that liked the first one. Personally, I wasn't really a huge fan of the first one. I thought it was okay. Like, the cinematography was pretty good, the special effects were good, I mean, the creatures and everything like that, you know, the Fantastic Beasts, hence the title, they were all pretty cool and everything, but I found it to just be lacking in substance. I didn't really feel that attached to any of the characters. None of them felt really well developed to me, at least in my own opinion, okay? This is all my own opinion. I know there might be plenty of people who disagree with me, and that's fine. But in my opinion, I didn't feel that strongly about any of the characters. The only characters really that felt that felt like they had any depth or any development to me was the main character Newt Scamander and Credence. Really, those were the only two characters that I really had any interest in or any investment in. You know, Tina just comes off as kind of a flat character, to be really honest with you. Especially in the second movie, I don't know, I'm just not that interested in her as a character. Same thing with Queenie and, the baker guy, I can't even remember his name at the moment. Queenie and the baker guy who was a muggle, or nomad. I'm not really a big fan of the American terminology of people who aren't from the, you know, wizarding world. Just not really a fan of that either, so just overall, I just wasn't a big fan of the first movie. I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay, but I just wasn't a huge fan of it. Now, if you were a big fan of the world of Fantastic Beasts in the first movie, and you really liked the characters in that one, you might be a little let down with The Crimes of Grindelwald. But for me, for someone who wasn't a big fan of the first movie, if you weren't a big fan of the first movie, you might like this one a little bit better. What I like about this movie is that it goes into it goes into the character of Grindelwald, and it kind of just shows you, you know, because Grindelwald was basically like the closest thing to Voldemort before Voldemort, you know, came about. Like, he was the closest thing to being Voldemort. And, you know, Johnny Depp does a really good job with the character. I felt like he did a really good job. I'm not surprised. I mean, Johnny Depp does I mean, look at the amount of characters Johnny Depp has played over the years. I mean, look at the amount of different characters that he has played. I mean, how can you think he wouldn't do a good job with this? I mean, I had no doubt. I know some people had their doubts about Johnny Depp, but I was just like, nah, I think he's going to nail it. I mean, he nails every role that he's in. He makes every role that he's in his own. He makes that role. He owns every role that he has. So I had no doubts going in. He did a really good job. Jude Law's Dumbledore was great. The acting, just in general, was really good, just all around. Even the characters that I don't really care for that much, they were really good too. The acting was pretty superb. So yeah, just any time Grindelwald was in a scene, or any time Dumbledore was there, or anything having to do with Grindelwald and Dumbledore. Also, Leta Lestrange. I thought she was a really cool character. And here's the thing. With her, I liked her because she got some backstory, she got some development as a character. Because the thing is, with the first movie, with like Tina and Queenie and the baker guy, I'm sorry, I can't remember the guys, I'm just going to call him the baker guy, and even Newt to an extent, by the end of that movie, I didn't really feel really that much for any of the characters even then. And then it's like, with this movie, I go in not knowing who the hell Leta Lestrange is, but then by the end of the movie, I find myself caring about the character and feeling sympathy for her, like I feel for this character. You know, so, and this movie was able to do that with one character that I had no idea who they were. By the end of the movie, I felt for the character, and the first movie couldn't do the same with me for the characters in that movie. So I think that kind of says something, at least to me, in my own opinion. I also thought it was cool how they went into into Lita's backstory about her and Newt, and how they were friends at Hogwarts, and they were both at Hogwarts. You know, her being a Slytherin and everything. I also thought that was another interesting aspect. We got to see a Slytherin in a more sympathetic light, because I feel like in the Harry Potter movies and in the books, you know, the Slytherins are made out to be like the evil ones and everything, and like the ones that are just really bad. Like, I mean, obviously, like, you know, hardcore, or at least Harry Potter fans in general, who have read the books and everything, know that that's not the case. Just because you're in Slytherin doesn't mean you're automatically or inherently a bad person. It has produced the most dark witches and wizards, but it doesn't make you inherently a bad person. But it seems like casual fans kind of are like, oh yeah, Slytherin's evil, you know, Gryffindor's good. But in this movie, it kind of flipped that around. You know, the person that was in Slytherin was, like I said, shown in a more sympathetic, likable light. Whereas, like, some people in Gryffindor were just shown to be really big douches and everything. So it's kind of interesting how that dynamic was flipped. So I really enjoyed that. And basically the plot of the movie was Dumbledore finding Newt, because this movie takes place like 3 months after the first movie. And he basically tasks Newt with this mission to stop Grindelwald from his mission of making just an entire world of purebloods, you know, ruling over non-magical people. And I think it's kind of interesting, because Grindelwald repeatedly says in the movie when he's giving a speech or talking or something, he says that he doesn't hate non-magic folk. He thinks that they're good for certain uses. So it's almost like he tries to placate more of his less die-hard followers who might have doubts by him saying, oh, I don't hate non-magic people. I think that they're, you know, they're useful. But you really know that he thinks that non-magical people are just dirt, are good for nothing. But even still, he's charismatic and everything. You know, because I know J.K. Rowling kind of reminded me, or J.K. Rowling, I think, has said or implied that Voldemort was based off of the character Adolf Hitler. But I almost get more of a vibe of this from Grindelwald. Almost. I don't know. Just, again, my opinion. But yeah, so anything... And then with Credence and everything, you know, his storyline was really interesting. Him wanting to find out, you know, who his real family is and what bloodline he really belongs to. We get to see Nagini in this film, because there was that whole that stupid controversy about racist stuff, whatever. But Nagini was in this film. I thought she was really interesting. The actress who played her did a really good job. I'm assuming we're going to get to see more of her, because we know something happens with her, because eventually she gets stuck in the permanent form of a snake. And we see her turn into a snake in the movie, but she's not stuck in the form of a snake yet. And she's actually more of a good character more than anything in this movie. So it's going to be interesting how she develops into the character that she becomes in the Harry Potter books and movies. You know, we also get, we have this tension between Newt and Tina, because I think it was that Newt, said some things, and it was published, and it rubbed Tina the wrong way and stuff. So there's this tension between the two in the whole movie, and I just can't bring myself to care. You know, Newt and Tina, I got the vibe in the first movie that they were just, like, good friends, that they were, like, the feelings between the two were just platonic. But I guess not. I guess there's some romantic stuff there. And I just can't bring myself to care about it. Like, I feel like there's more chemistry between Newt and Lita Lestrange than there is between Newt and Tina. I could not get into it. And don't even get me started about Queenie and the baker guy. Oh my god. Like, almost any scene they were in, it just made me cringe. Like, Queenie has the baker guy under a love spell or something. Can you put love spells on? I mean, because I know in the movies and in the books, like in the 6th book, they Lavender Brown, I believe. It's been a while since I've read the books, so I'm not as brushed up on it. I've read the books like multiple times, but it's been a while since I've read them, so I'm a little rusty. But Ron was given a love potion in the 6th book, and he was acting like odd and everything. But in this one, I guess there's just a spell put on him or something, or I don't even know. But in the beginning, yeah, it really, like I said, it made me cringe. The scenes with Queenie and Baker guy, except for one scene towards the end of the movie. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a confrontation, kind of a showdown with all the characters in Grindelwald, and there's a scene between those two that almost makes me get some investment into their relationship and them as characters. It helped me feel for them a little bit more, because I guess there's more punch to it, I guess, or something. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a scene, those who've seen it probably know what I'm talking about, but there's a scene towards the end that makes me care about them a little bit more than I did. Sorry, I'm still not interested in them. I'm not real interested in them as characters, or even real invested in them as characters, but I do at least care somewhat now after that about them, whereas before I just thought didn't really care for them. I thought they were kind of annoying, to be really honest, especially Queenie. I just found her to be really, really fucking annoying. I don't know about anyone else, but I didn't find her to be endearing or cute. I just found her to be annoying. Like, honestly, like, at one point in the movie, I was actually hoping, I was like, dear God, can someone just kill off, like, one or both of these characters? I know that's really horrible to say, but it's true. I found them, especially, like I said, Queen, to be annoying. But anyways, I'm getting on a tangent, but, so yeah, like I said, pretty much anything. I like the movie for the most part. Now, a criticism that it has gotten is that the plot is kind of all over the place. And I do kind of agree. I can kind of see where they're coming from, because at certain points in the movie, I felt like it was suffering like Spider-Man 3 syndrome, where they've got multiple things going on, and it's kind of just all over the map and all over the place. So I can understand that criticism, and I can kind of agree with that. That kind of brought it down for me a little bit. But I felt like overall the good definitely outweighed the bad in this movie. And like I said, I personally liked this one better than the first one. Again, I thought all the scenes with Grindelwald were great. Dumbledore, great. Anything with Lena Lestrange was really interesting, good. Anything with Credence was really good. Newt, it's the same thing with like he was probably one of the two characters, I know, Newt and Credence in the first movie. I felt somewhat something for Newt going into this movie, but I wasn't real into his character, but by the end of this movie, I feel like I know him a little bit more than I did in the first one, and I feel like I can get behind him now after this movie, since I know more of his backstory and more of what he was like, with his backstory with Lita and everything like that. So, yeah, the scenes that Newt were in were fairly interesting, apart from his scenes with Tina, which I just was bored with, to be really honest with you. But other than that, overall, I'd give this movie like an 8 out of 10, I think. The first movie I would have given like a 5 out of 10 or something. Maybe a 6, but that's being generous. But yeah, overall, I liked Crimes of Grindelwald. I thought it was actually a really solid movie. I thought it was better than the first one, like I said. A little all over the map, all over the place. A bit sloppy at times, I will admit, but I still really enjoyed it. So yeah, like I said, 8 out of 10. I'd say it's a pretty decent movie. Go check it out. Keep an open mind. And I think that's really all I have to say about this one. So, again, let me know what you guys think, and that's going to be it for this edition of American Pizza Books. So until next time, peace, and keep on reading.